Well, good morning, everyone, or good afternoon, depending where you are today. Marilyn Wilson here, president of RA Technology, with our daily coffee chat. I hope everybody's got their coffee like I do. Today, I needed a little extra. I had one of those nights that we keep reading about where you don't sleep as well as you should, so I had one of those. And we've got Rachel Adams-Lee with us today. Thank you so much for joining us, Rachel. Excited to have you.
I'm happy to be here. It's great.
Yeah, it should be great. So just a little bit of housekeeping. If any of you want to ask questions, and I highly recommend that you do, because Rachel's got some really good insights. I think she does some really interesting things and can help you in a lot of different ways. So feel free to just click on that little bar that says questions, open it up, and then add it right in there, and we'll do our best to answer them as they come in. And just a quick intro on Rachel. I don't even know how to describe you, Rachel. You do so many interesting things. She's a top producing agent. She runs a team. She has a coaching business. She's written books. And what else do? You've got multiple entrepreneurial ventures, I think it sounds like.
Yeah, so my husband and I have 4 different 6-figure businesses, and all of them are kind of ran through social media. So we have a real estate in Northern California. I'm a real estate coach, and then I'm also a public speaker. And then we have a little side hustle where we partnered with an anti-aging shampoo and skincare company. So we have 55 people on that team. So we're jamming.
That's awesome. That sounds like fun. That's a whole different world.
It is.
Well, good.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for being here today. And your hair does look beautiful, by the way. I think I need some of that anti-aging.
Today, I think that I call myself a multi-passionate entrepreneur because it's just about helping people, and whether they want to buy a house or they want to build passive income or they want to, improve their quality of life, like all of it's people, that whole birds of a feather flock together. I just end up with the right people, and it's really fun.
Absolutely. Well, so tell us, you're based in the Sacramento market, right? Roseville is outside of Sacramento, California?
Yeah,
correct?
so my office is in Roseville. Yep, it's about 25, 30 minutes outside Sacramento. And then my home is actually in El Dorado Hills. So we kind of cover the Tri-County area.
Gotcha. So I live in California too, so we're an essential, luckily.
Yeah.
So what's business? I'm sorry that you broke up there for a second.
We weren't essential, and now we are.
Yeah, that was pretty scary when we weren't. They said basically put all your listings on hold. People got a little freaked out. So what's it like for you right now? Your business up, down, holding? What are you seeing happening?
So to be honest, it's been really, really busy. I braced myself when everything started to kind of go down. My first prerogative was to cut expenses. So we went through everything we could, cut where we could, talk to vendors. I mean, I was ruthless. I was like, I had no shame in my game, because I'm like, we're all in this together, and if we're all going through it. So first thing I did was cut expenses, and then I prepped our team. So we have 15 people on the team. And so I basically went through every single step I have, whether it's a showing, a buyer broker, a listing appointment, a final walkthrough inspection, a home inspection. And we created a virtual system for absolutely everything. And then we did a Zoom with the team and showed them how we could support them as team leaders, and so they can still run their business. So the market's jamming here, honestly. There was 600 houses pending last month. Last month, in the last week. It is still moving. And I did when they first kind of announced the shelter in place, I had 5 listings pull, but we've taken 6 since. So
that's great.
Yeah, and it's just honestly the biggest thing is setting the expectations for what the market is right now and what the market isn't. Is it still a seller's market? Yeah, it's still a seller's market here. And yet I'm not really prepping them the normal conversation of you're going to have multiple offers. I'm just kind of being a little cautious because I don't want to ever overpromise. And it's a funky market with COVID right now. So, we are pricing competitively as we always do. But at the end of the day, sales haven't gone, we're not going down in price yet because it's too new, and appraisers are still looking at comps that sold 6 months ago. So we're just holding steady and focusing on, instead of the conversation of, okay, let's, when we're circle prospecting, let's talk about how many houses sold in your neighborhood. We're literally people, and it's, hey there, this is Rachel Adams-Lee. I'm your local realtor. I just wanted to normally we're calling you to let you know what's happening in the market, but that doesn't feel appropriate right now. So I just wanted to see if I can help you with anything, either personally or professionally. Like, how are
That's
you?
great.
And we're silent. And that seems to be going over really well because people are lonely and they're scared and they want to know, especially if you're a consistent presence in their community, they want to know you're not going anywhere and this isn't scaring you. So this is where we as leaders in the industry get to stand up and say, we got this. It's okay. Does it look different? Absolutely. But it's my job to protect you.
So with those 6 listings you just got, what did that process look like? How did you get them? How did you, talk to the people? Were they already in progress, or were these things that started since COVID has begun?
So 2 of them were already in progress. We had talked before everything kind of happened,
Hmm.
pre-pandemic, and then 4 of them were new. So I am really big on adding value. So last year we had 117 referrals come through with social media. So I'm
Hmm.
really big on consistently adding value to other agents through social media. I have a YouTube
Hmm.
channel where I'm constantly working on like scripts and different things. And right now, I'm ready to post it, but I have my script that we're circle prospecting with, and I posted in different like groups and stuff. And like my intention is always to help build businesses for other agents, and then
Hmm.
usually when is if they have a referral, they think of you.
It's great.
So yeah, I with the listings, I've had 2 where I could actually go there, and we just practiced social distancing, and there was gloves and masks and
Hmm.
booties and the whole thing.
Hmm.
And the other ones, and more consistently now, they're FaceTiming me. They're FaceTiming me through their house, and I have my listing presentation. We do a Zoom, and I have my
Hmm.
listing presentation. I share my screen.
Hmm.
And so does it look different? Absolutely, and it's still completely possible. And they don't know what they're doing in this time, so they say, "Hey, I want to sell my house. How do I do that?" And if you say, "Oh,
Sure.
God, well, it's really challenging right now because it's
Right.
so," then they're uneasy. So you have to say, "Oh, you know what? I absolutely have a system and a plan for you. Let me tell you what that looks like."
Gotcha. For the viewers today too, if you open up the chat, you'll see the link to Rachel's YouTube page where there's a lot of great educational videos about a lot of the things we're going to be talking about today. So check those out. She did a really nice job with those. Um, so let's get specific, right? There's a lot of these kinds of webinars right now, and we really want to know. People are like want to know specifically what you're doing, right? So let's give people, let's say, what are the 3 most important tools or tactics you recommend that people look at right now? And you could even say the name of the company if you want. That doesn't matter. What should people be doing specifically?
So, honestly, right now, I think one of the best opportunities you have is to fine tune your systems. I feel like a lot of people
Okay.
are, excuse is always that we don't have the time. And so I would say the very first thing you need to do, honestly, and it's not a sexy answer, get yourself on a schedule. Because what I'm finding, I will say like the first 2 weeks of this, I was like having way too many cocktails. I was just like, it was like, I was just like, all right, like we're home for 2 weeks, let's do it. And then, your business only grows to the extent that you do. So I said, okay, if I'm truly going to focus on this time, I told my husband, I said, because we run our business together, I'm like, I don't want this entire quarantine to pass and us to look back and say, what did we actually accomplish? So the first thing I would suggest everybody does is create a calendar. Really, truly get a schedule, what time you're going to wake up, what time you're going to be working, what time you take breaks to walk with your family, what time you're feeding. Like I have an 8-month-old baby now, and little baby Henry. And so
Aw,
he's so freaking cute. Oh my gosh.
we
Wait,
need to see Henry. Put him on the screen.
threw his picture because it was like the
Okay, let's see. We want to see him.
he's
Babies
so,
are so fun right now. We love babies.
I know. Look at this little guy.
Oh, so cute. Look at the Easter eggs. Oh,
No,
adorable. So,
it
so
was
cute. Thank you for sharing.
yeah, that picture with him, and like literally 3 minutes after we're doing the photos, he like spits up all over the eggs. We have to change his diaper, and I didn't realize the pants were so tight he couldn't like breathe, so we cut his shirt. I was like, well, parenting 101.
Okay,
Okay,
we got some really funny comments I have to share with you. Robert says, you do know they turn into teenagers, right? And Sherry says, cutie patootie. So, for what
uh,
it's worth.
yeah,
Thank you, Sherry.
really cute. Now I'm actually trying to convince my husband to have another baby, and he's like, "Oh my gosh, like you're crazy. Our kid's 8 months old." I'm like, "I know, and let's get this done." We'll be one of the quarantine kids. Um, So yeah, so I'd say number one thing is schedule, because the structure in this is going to be really important. And then number two, you need to get your database dialed, because the people, this is such a good opportunity for all of us who say like, oh, I need to call my database, and we just aren't doing it, to really dial it in. We use a Boomtown as our contact management system we use,
Uh-huh.
and any one of them is great. And I like tags. So I like to know where I met the person from. So I know if I'm doing a specific drip campaign, I don't want to send it to everyone, because then they don't feel special and they don't feel like you genuinely care about them and they're just a number. And
Right.
right now is the time to make your business relational, not transactional. So I'm just really focusing on reaching out to my people. And honestly, it's that same script. So truly, we're reaching out and we're just saying, hey, this is Rachel. I just wanted to call and see how you're doing. Is there anything I can help you with, personally or professionally?
That's
How are you?
awesome.
And then
Hmm.
honestly, after you say, how are you? You're quiet. You just let them answer. You let them talk. You let it go wherever they want. And then one of the things we're doing, which I'll show you guys what this looks like. And if you go to my Facebook page, I posted this so you can actually snag all of these. But one of the things we're doing is, after we're in the conversation with them, we'll say, one of the things we're doing right now with our community is we're just trying to add a little positivity and some light. So
Hmm.
we're actually have these really fun scavenger hunts. They're kid friendly and adult friendly, but it's something to
Fun.
get you out of the house and just fresh. So like this is an example of what one looks like. And there's
Cute.
actually, yeah, there's like 6 of them. And it's like, this one's a rainbow scavenger hunt, but it's like, find something red, find something yellow. And so it's just different. Normally you're talking about what's happening in the market. If they ask and the conversation naturally goes there, that's fine, but they're used to hearing from you, or they should be used to hearing from you. So it's
Right.
okay if you lead it right now with just something fun and nothing to do with real estate. That's honestly where my referrals are coming from, is having nothing to do with real estate, just positivity and fun.
That's
And
great.
then
And are any of them asking you about, like, are people worried that, like, just one of the things about the value of their house is going down, or the market's going to close off, or what kind of
almost
economic worries are you hearing?
will come back to asking, because when you ask someone about them, undoubtedly they're going to ask how you are. And
Okay.
people who care about you, they want to know that you're okay too, because we're in
Hmm.
real estate. And so I let them know, you know what, real estate wasn't essential, but now we are.
Hmm.
And I let them know how many houses. So one thing I would always suggest for each agent is know how many houses went pending, either within the last week or the last month,
A great
because
idea. Yeah.
like, just, you don't have to go too crazy with it, but like general stats. And so if
Right.
you depending, so I would always just say, you know what, actually 600 houses went past pending last week. So the market's still moving. Does it look a little different? Absolutely. But you know what, this too shall pass. And we're just doing things virtually. So again, it's our job to make everyone feel like we've got this. It's okay. It's going to be okay. And
And
then
did they ever ask you about the pending, like the 600 versus what this month looked like a year ago? Like how far off is 600? They don't even care.
haven't had one person ask that, and we're doing a lot of dials, not one person. They're just concerned with what's happening right now. They want to
Gotcha.
know it's going to be okay. And is it uncertain? Absolutely. And we all know things are every day. They're changing what we're allowed to do, what we're not allowed to do, what we're allowed to say. Like, it's
Right.
always changing. And that's why it's important for us to be able to kind of spread the comfort and positivity in this time. Uh,
Hmm.
and I had a really last week I had a really rough day. I've been pretty even keel through all this and just pouring into people, like that's what I've been doing. And then I had a rough moment where I went to the grocery store after, in 4 weeks I hadn't gone. I was just doing Instacart, and I walked in and everyone's in masks and no one's smiling, and I'm like a very happy positive person. And I
Hmm.
walked in my garage and I just started sobbing to my husband, and I was like, this is really scary. Like,
It
this is.
is.
And so I put a post out, and a lot of how I've built my business, it's not by business, it's by building relationships. And I just told
Hmm.
people that I was having my moment and I'm struggling. And I don't even know how many comments on there. Right? There's like 187 comments. I haven't responded to anyone because I'm not quite ready to go there yet.
Hmm.
And everyone's feeling the same way. And the best thing
Yeah.
we can do for everyone is just to say, we are in this together. Yes, you can have a
Yep.
rough moment, and you're supported by people who care about you, and we're going to get through it.
Yeah. And we all have those, and you don't even know when that moment's going to happen. We've all had them. You just wake up one day and you're just crying. You don't even know why. Like sometimes it's something like you experience. Sometimes it's just random. You don't even know why.
Absolutely.
So it's okay. All right, so so the three would be schedule, database, and reaching out. Those are your three top things people should be doing right now, would you say?
Yeah, number three is absolutely connecting. So so number one, schedule. Number two, get your database out. Then number three is start calling, reach out to your people, let them know you're here, you care about them, and you want to help.
Gotcha. Okay. So, this is a good time, like you said, and I feel the same way. I'm feeling this like type A energy, like I got to come out of this with something I didn't go into it with, right? I got to something I don't normally get to,
Uh,
which is probably just because we're type A's and we're always going to do that no matter what goes on in the world. But if you had to say to those that, that maybe came into this feeling, a little unprepared, maybe not quite as online or virtual as they would have liked to have been, but, they're getting there. But what would you say is the one habit? Because we've got those, they always say it takes 3 weeks to create a habit. We've probably got it 3 more weeks when we're still in quarantine, right? What's that one habit as a professional salesperson, not even worrying about COVID, but just in general, that you think is the difference that people should focus on trying to create right now?
it's following your schedule. It is honestly following your schedule, because I don't care if you, like, when I was a brand new agent and I'm paycheck behind a paycheck and I was super struggling, I
Hmm.
knew that every week I was going to door knock 200 doors and do 3 open houses. 200
Okay.
doors, open houses. That's how I started the business, and I
Hmm.
lived by my schedule. I made sure that I got my lead generation in, and it was the last thing I wanted to do, so it was the first thing that I did do. And so in this season, you've got to get a schedule and you have to be really intentional. And then, so like what I'm doing is I have 3 blocks throughout the day where I work, and then I
Hmm.
have a walk break with my family, and I have breaks when like when we're feeding my son, and
Hmm.
so I can be invigorated, because
Hmm.
continually working, like I was talking to my husband about the Zoom hangover. I'm like, I cannot do another Zoom. Like,
Right.
yeah, days today. Like, there's days where you're in your computer. I mean, you're in your office just on Zooms for 8 hours a day, and it's draining.
It
So have
is.
breaks in there, and practicing your scripts. I have an entire video on YouTube about how to master scripts, because so many people don't like them.
Hmm.
And I started my business script practicing 7 days a week, truly, truly, truly 7 days a week. And the reason that scripts are so important, it's not because you sound like someone else or it sounds inauthentic, because that is the whole point of a script, is to turn it into dialogue.
Right.
Because a script is someone else's words that someone else has written. There's often objection handlers in there, right? And
Hmm.
I'm like I nerd out. Like, I love objection handlers. Like, if you're like buyer objection, seller objection, like, I'm all about it. But I
Okay.
love what I do, and because I care about what's best for my clients, I know how to overcome their objections for what's in their best interest. If it's not in their best
Right.
interest to sell, we're going to be honest about that too. And yet right now, I think that if you can start to practice your scripts, and you practice them so much that it becomes how you communicate, and then you put your own spin on it. And you'll notice when I talk, I touch my heart a lot. I do that in person, I do that over the phone, like, it doesn't matter. But it's because of when I care about something or I feel it, I touch my heart, and that's just how I live. That's what I do.
Hmm.
And talking to a client, I end up touching my heart if it's something that matters. And so this season, I would say this is such a great opportunity to start script practice. And if you don't know where to start, conveniently, I have a video that can help you guys do that too.
So let's lay out your day for us. What is your, and maybe let's not do a COVID day. Let's do a regular day. Probably
Okay.
hasn't changed that much, but what does it look like? How many
Okay.
hours do you work, and what do you do for second and third?
um, so first thing in the morning is wake up. And so I always like to wake up a half hour before my baby. He wakes up at 8. And so I like to wake up a little bit early. And
Hmm.
then I go out to my dining table, and it's always it's quick. But if you've ever read The Miracle Morning, Hal Elrod
Hmm.
calls them savers. I don't do all of them. You can Google what that means. And yet I do something where I'm practicing positive affirmations and gratitude, a little bit of journaling, and then I usually do a bit of exercise. So right now we're doing exercise twice in the day. In the morning, it's just like some squats and push-ups and sit-ups.
Hmm.
And something physical to get our mind going. And then we wake up our baby and get his feed going. And so I basically, my early morning, the first block I have, which starts at 9:30 for me, is after breakfast is done, which we eat as a family because that's really important to me.
Mhm.
My first block is honestly, it's working on my shampoo team. So my first block is with money, and then immediately when that's done, and it's honestly, it's new leads and lead follow up. It's no different than real estate, right? Because you have,
Right.
and then after that, it's lead gen for real estate. So my lead gen looks a little bit different than the traditional person because I'm not doing open houses anymore and I'm not doing as much circle prospecting. So I am writing social media posts. I'm commenting on people's social media. I am hosting a webinar. I'm doing new YouTube videos. So my lead gen looks a little bit different. We do have a lot of business to business relationships. So my lead gen often is reaching out to business owners. We have a
Mhm.
whole presentation how we do business to business.
Okay.
And so my whole morning is all lead gen. Then it's a lunch break. If I'm not in COVID, I like to try to have lunch with a past client or a business owner, someone who I'm going to do business with,
Mhm.
or partner at least 3 times a week. And then the rest of the day is email follow up and appointments. So I don't do, my morning is, there's no appointments in my morning, period. It's always going to be reserved for the afternoon, and then I'm done by 6. So the only exception for me to not be done by 6 and home is if I have a listing appointment, because I'm still the lead listing agent on the team.
Gotcha. Okay, that's great. Um, what would you say to other team leaders? So in this is a, like you're mentioning earlier, that leadership is so critical right now. What would you say to, to fellow team leaders about what's the best use of their time right now to help their agents be, hang in there, be successful, and feel good about what they're doing?
Yeah. I would say they've got to make sure they have the systems in place for their people. We did a productivity session with each of our agents. So my
Mhm.
husband, we did a Zoom with each of us, and then we took each agent one by one for a half hour.
Mhm.
And one of our agents was circle prospecting, and we said, so how's it going? And he said, to be honest with you, I don't know what to do when I get the appointment right now. And we thought, oh my gosh, good to know. So then we created the system. So we went through, we had a full itinerary for the day, but we went through every single step that we have in real estate. Truly, we went through a buyer presentation, a listing presentation, how to set up photos right now, what appraisers are doing, final walkthroughs, a home inspection. So for example, say it's a home inspection, right? So I would say,
Mhm.
okay, with a home inspection, we have a couple options for you. And obviously this is dependent upon what state you're in. So make sure you get this checked, with your local guidelines and everything. In California, our options are, so what we can either do is we have 3 options here with your home inspector. Option 1 is your home inspector is going to be at the property, and your client can be there as well with a mask, with booties, with gloves, and needs to keep 6 feet at all times. And he's going to, home inspector will walk through everything with you, point out health and safety. But to be honest with you, most of our home inspectors aren't comfortable with that right now. So
Mhm.
each home inspector, right? They're not covered under our same guidelines. Option 2 is your client can be on FaceTime, and you can be at the walkthrough with the home inspector with all protective gear on, and
Mhm.
we can plan on FaceTime and we can do the walkthrough virtually. And then option 3 is the home inspector is going to go ahead and do a video for you. He's going to pre-record a video for you, and then we're going to email you the video with the walkthrough, and then you can have a set a call and ask any questions that you have. And then within 24 to 48 hours, you're going to have a 40-page report. There's going to be photos, red arrows pointing out any health and safety issues. So it's that detailed. So we truly went over every single step of the real estate process so that
Awesome.
no matter what's happening, we have got you covered. We have the system. It's going to be okay.
So did you have online listing presentations or digital listing presentations before this all started? And if so, which one do you use?
Well, it's nothing fancy. I have it on my
Okay.
computer. I have a PowerPoint and we do Zoom.
Okay.
I have done a listing appointment in the front seat of a wine, when we were on a wine tour in Napa, and I sat in the front seat and I did a listing presentation. Like I've done them so much, I could do them with my eyes closed, right? The
Mhm.
thing interesting about this season is so many people are learning how to do business virtually right now, and some of it's going to stick. So when we
Right. Oh
go
yeah.
life as normal, it's not going to, people are really enjoying being able to learn how to do this virtually, which I think is great. I mean,
Me
it's
too.
really still have that face-to-face communication, and it's good to know that there's a way we can do this where everything's still covered.
Yeah, because the Newsom, the governor of California, at noon today is going to be telling us what it might look like for us to start to go back to the quote real world.
Mhm.
And if we see what's happening in China, it's sort of like the real world.
Right.
There's still a lot of recommendation for virtual activity wherever possible. So
Yep.
this isn't going away. And you're right. Once people get comfortable with it, well, I mean, I got to believe that so many more people are comfortable with GoToMeetings and Zooms and things than they ever were before. You've been using them for years, but a lot of consumers had no need, right? So now that they're comfortable, it's like, well, why not? And do
Yeah.
you get any different sense of like, I mean, there's a human connection obviously when you're sitting looking at someone across the table, right? But
Yeah.
do you miss much of that, do you think, if you're doing these kinds of things virtually, or is it still working to build relationships?
I mean, it absolutely still works to build relationships. Like on my bio, it says that I like to start with a handshake and end with a hug. So like I'm a hugger. Like I like physical,
Right.
like number one love language is physical touch. So like I like connection. And this can fill your cup. Like when you're lonely or you're home or you're sad or you need that connection, pop on a Zoom. It's free for people right now. So
Mm-hmm.
there's Google Duo. My husband was just playing with that last night. There's
Mm-hmm.
there's all kinds of ways that we can connect with each other virtually, and it
Yeah.
works.
So if anybody on the call has questions for Rachel, put them in the question box, and we'll answer them for you. Um, okay, let's see. Uh, what else did I want to ask you about? Yeah, I guess and it sounds like you maybe not don't need this as much, but with your team, are you doing anything on a regular basis to, do you get them all together on a Zoom every morning and say, hey, let's get up, like are you helping each other sort of stay positive, or what are you doing along those lines?
So every Monday, so we have a couple things we've done virtually just all like the whole time. So every Monday we do what's called a powwow call, and everyone
Mm-hmm.
hops on the conference line and they say something great that happened over the weekend, and then they set their goal for the upcoming week. And then our admins on that line sends an email out afterwards, hey, this is your goal. Then on Friday, a follow-up email comes out and everyone says what their goal was and how they did.
That's great.
So we like accountability is big on our team. So we do
Mm-hmm.
that every day. And then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, we do script practice 3 mornings a week on a conference call. And so it's role play. And so we've done that since I've had the team. So that hasn't changed. Normally we do lead gen. We do like twice a month, we'll do a team lead gen event, meaning we door knock together for a just sold or just listed, or we have
Mm-hmm.
Easter bunny and mimosas, which we didn't get to do this year. And
Mm-hmm.
so we do a lot of team lead gen. So right now it just looks a little different. So on Saturday night, we're doing a trivia night over Zoom with the whole team, just because we want to make sure they still know that we're here and then that it's
Mm-hmm.
okay. And then our team meeting, we do a team meeting every other Thursday. So
Mm-hmm.
we're doing this week, and I have to figure out what content I'm going to be teaching them on.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just a way, like as much as you can keep business as usual, you're going to do it. Is every person who's in real estate right now going to make it out of this and stay in real estate? Absolutely not. No,
Right.
not everyone will be able to make it through. And that's okay. That's just how
Right.
things like it is challenging for so many business owners right now. I mean, we only have not people sometimes think it's a different situation. It's not for us. We only have a few months that we can float the team with no sales coming in, but our expenses are really high for a team of this size. And
Mm-hmm.
so we have to be doing a lot of business to keep everything going. So that's why for me it was imperative to cut the expenses as much as I could in the beginning so that we can take
Mm-hmm.
care of people.
So we have a question for you, Rachel. Hi, Rachel. When you've reached out to a client multiple times and you're getting no return calls or feedback, when do you decide to walk away, and how do you do it gently to keep the door open? Good question.
Great question. So if you're calling and you're sending text messages, I want to challenge you to do a video text message. So sometimes
Okay.
people have a hard time saying no to your face. And if you watch, I have a video on YouTube where I talk about how to do a video message to a
Mm-hmm.
client. So I would just like literally take your phone and be like, hey, Crystal, this is Rachel. You know, I've been trying to get a hold of you for a while now. And you know what? I've decided that I'm just going to take you off your list and stop bugging you. So, you know, I hope you're doing well. I know this is such a crazy time right now. I actually have a really fun thing that I'm doing for a lot of my clients where I'm offering them just some scavenger hunts to have some lightness and fun. So I'd love to send that to you, but I am going to just, for right now, I'm going to just take you off my list, give you a breather. If you need anything, just let me know. And then you can reach out to them in 6 months or whatever. But if they're blowing you off, just do like the takeaway. You know, a lot of my people are loving this, but if you don't want it, no big deal. I'll take you off my list. But the video message I have had, because I had this seller that was referred to me, and man, I called this guy like 7 times and he would not call me back. I emailed him and I was like, what the heck? She said he was ready to go. So I did a video text message. He called me back within like 5 minutes. I think the difference is when they can see you and they can hear your tonality and it's a real person versus just like a voice they don't know and they don't care about. So I would encourage you to try a video message, and then I mean, as many as you can do right now, even with your clients, like that's such a cool way to connect with people. People like that.
We're going to be talking actually to BombBomb tomorrow on our coffee chat. So if you want to learn more about how to do that, and if you don't have BombBomb, you can literally just record it on your phone and mail it to them, right? It's nothing too exciting. But Sherry's asking, where can she find those fun scavenger hunts that you're talking about? What is it on your Facebook page, I think? And if so, which?
So Sherry, if you go to my Facebook, so my Facebook name, so it's Rachel Adams Lee, but for Facebook, it's Rachel Adams Realtor, if you like do the backslash. And if you just go to the search bar on my profile and type in scavenger hunts, all 6 of them will pop up.
Perfect. Okay, great. All right, Robert says, it's all about sincerity. I got to jump on another call. Thanks for doing this. Best to you and Victor. Thanks, Robert. Good to see you. Okay, so let's I want to just let everybody know a couple of things. One is, if any of you would like us to register you for all of our coffee chats coming up for the rest of the week, just put your email address in there and we'll take care of that for you. And if you look in the chat right now, you'll see the link for tomorrow, which is all about BombBomb's a great tool to do exactly the kinds of things that Rachel's talking about. And it's almost like there's probably video scripts too, right? That might be a little different than audio scripts or written scripts. So it's fun to play with those. And they're going to talk to us all about the best ways to use video tomorrow, which will be awesome. And again, if any of you are not currently members of RE Technology, put your email address in there and we'll register you. It's normally a $200 annual subscription, but we'll do that, waive that right now, because we want you to have access to Rachel and a lot of other people that are telling us about really great things. Let's see if we got some other questions. Okay, just some emails coming in, which is awesome. All right, I think we'll just put this back up on the screen so everybody can see this, and then we'll call it a day. So here's what's coming up this week. We've got Human Connections are key right now. So Alicia Baruti, who's an awesome speaker, if you haven't heard her before, she's going to talk to us from BombBomb. And then if any of you have market analytics programs like Teradatum, for example, or some of the others, we have Jim Lawson, who's going to speak to us Thursday about what role that Teradatum can play. They have some really interesting and highly discounted another type of video that you can produce to help your clients in this time as well. So lots of good stuff coming your way. So again, if you have interest in getting us to register you for all of them so you don't have to worry about it, let us know. Or if you want a free subscription, just type in free subscription in your email and we'll take care of that for you. Okay, so with that, Rachel, any final words for the audience about things that you'd like them to think about or to do? Just one final word.
Yeah, you know, I think we kind of touched on this earlier, but the people who had big businesses and were successful before, they weren't afraid of doing the things that they didn't want to do, like lead generation or reaching out to their database. So in this season, do the things a top producer would do. Like the people who are going to make it out of this are the people who are willing to do this stuff that's not so fun and it's necessary. So like creating that schedule. If you've always struggled with your schedule, grant yourself a little bit of grace and try it. Maybe the first day you're only going to you're going to do only one thing on your schedule, but that's fine. Maybe the next day you'll do 2 and 3 and 4 and so on and so forth. So it's just, you got to start somewhere. And like, I mean, it sounds, I know you're hearing it all the time, but we really are all in this together. That's why so many of us are doing this, you know, completely for free, just because to connect. We want to be able to add value to our industry, because I mean, that's like, I'm so passionate about always giving back to our people, because so many others do that for me. Like, I'm on Zooms learning just as much as I'm on Zooms coaching, you know?
Yeah, that's exactly why we did Coffee Chat with RE Technologies, because we had relationships with really smart people like Rachel, and we wanted to share their perspective with everyone. Because and especially that day when you're having your freak out moment, which we all have had, come on one of these and we'll help you calm down. It's going to be okay, and you're
Yeah.
not alone with this. Daniel's asking about the free subscription for RE Technology. So just type in your email address there, Daniel, and we will sign you up for a free subscription, which gives you access to thousands of articles, webinars, and then invitations to things like Coffee Chat, so you can continue to learn right alongside of us. So thank you so much, Rachel. The recording of this will be sent to all of you that attended today. So feel free to share it if you'd like to with others, or watch it again, because there's some great information that Rachel shared with us today. Great, Rachel, thank you so much. I really appreciate your time, and good luck. I hope that your team continues to thrive, and you continue to find even more passions to be successful. I have a husband and wife team as well, by the way. My husband and I have been in business for 20 years, so
Yeah.
that's a exciting way to do business for sure.
Fun.
All right,
And
well,
this season, we're also like, I love you. I need you to go for a walk. I need a little space. I love you, and I also
yes.
don't want your face for a few minutes.
Yeah, I did a little hot tubbing myself the other night. People, my family said, "Do you want me to join you?" I'm like, "No, that'd be okay. You can just stay here." That's okay to need a little alone time.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thanks, everybody, and have a great day. And we'll see you tomorrow talking with Bomb Bomb. Bye.